Ladies and gentlemen, Justin McCormick back again with another football-based video. I've got a question, and Ryan Moody, I'm going to direct this question directly to you. I want to ask the football video game community, when does a simulation-based game, not necessarily a sports game, but when does a simulation-based game stop being simulation and start becoming a video game? You can also argue with the fact of fantasy and all this. And now, this is NFL 2K5 loaded up, and basically I've got Jack Del Rio's stats here, and I'm going to do a number of things here, but I'm going to give proof to my argument here. Now, if you know anything about Jack Del Rio, first thing you'll notice is he never won a Super Bowl. This was my doing. 3-0 in the Super Bowl. Have a 7-2 playoff record, which means I lost probably to the Patriots twice. But anyway, probably not. The big thing that I want you guys to realize in this is you'll look at my depth chart and you see right here, that is Tom Brady. And you see there's his picture right there. But yeah, there's my quarterback roster that I've got for this possibly 6th or 7th season. A couple of created guys that the game thought up of, as well as my trade Tom Brady. So got a number of guys on there. This guy definitely got killed, whatever happened to him. But anyway, yeah, we've got a number of players and everything that's gone through the number of years that I've been on here. And the thing is after the first initial season that you go through in any video game, the game itself is going to have to create some players for you, unless somebody painstakingly goes in and puts in the draft picks for the next year. But then the thing is, you don't know what the next year or the year after that's gonna hold, and you really can't tell anything. I mean, let's go to the injury report, for example. Or let's say, I painstakingly went through first season and came into second season. All right, well, who would know that this guy named Sidney Willis, if he was a real character, would have got hurt? Who knows? But that's the thing. It's like once you leave your initial first season, the game then goes into fantasy what-if mode. And it can even happen in week 1, for example. All right, let's back out. Let's go to the schedule here. All right, even if this was not the 2009 season, as obviously this game started the 2004-2005 season, if I had not done but one season, who's to say the Cleveland Browns would still have the same quarterback, or the Rams would still have who they have as coach or player, or even a single point given or taken away from one team or another can change the whole aspect of things. Now I'm gonna do something real quick. Let's go back. All right, let's just pretend, for argument's sake, that this is 2004. All right, so we're going to go through, we're going to do all of our stuff here, and we're going to start a new season. Okay, so let's choose, all right, for example, my favorite team is the Vikings. So let's choose the Vikings. All right, so as of this game being pulled out in 2004 for the football season, you have the starting lineup of Culpepper and Bennett. You've got fullback Klein Saucer, Randy Moss, and then you've got a number of other guys there on the offensive line and whatnot. This roster obviously changed throughout the year. that a lot of these players might have been cut, might have been injured, or might have gone on and stayed with the team. For example, Randy Moss was not on the Vikings the whole time, to my dismay, and ended up going to a number of other teams, including, I believe the last team I think he was on was San Francisco. But he did have stints with Minnesota a second time. He also went to Oakland. He also was in Tennessee for a short stint. But yeah, I mean, the moment that that this game goes into a player's hand, I believe, is the moment that fantasy kicks in. And let's have the argument. All right, let's say this right here. Let's say this is a roster update. Okay. Let's say the roster update does something crazy like this. Okay, so Randy Moss, let's say he gets traded. Okay, so we're going to move him back. We're going to move Randy Moss way back here. Let's say he gets traded. All right, now we've got Robinson and Burleson now as the top guys. Let's say that happened. Okay, now then you've got Robinson, who's going to be your starting wide out here, and he's going to be backed up by Burleson and whomever else is behind him. So, but here's the argument with the roster update. With the roster update, let's say this happened in week 3. If this happened in week 3, that means when you start a new franchise in week 1, what does this have? What happens here is you end up having this problem. You have this scenario where going into week 1, let's say this is week 1 against the Browns, Randy Moss didn't leave until, let's say, week 3, Arizona game. Okay? And I know this is preseason, but this is an argument, guys. But if Randy Moss was on these first 2 teams here, your roster update becomes a fantasy idea because of the fact that he was there in the first 2 games. So you either have to manually adjust things, or you just have to pretend he got traded in week 1. So I mean, seriously, this is just the argument that you run into with video games. When does the game stop being a simulation? And I know a lot of the argument that's coming on this. A lot of the argument says that, you know, it's the gameplay, or it's you know, the logos, the helmets, the jerseys, then you've got the grass, then you've got the crowd, then you've got the referees, you've got the interactions, the animations, you know, what have you. All this stuff can contribute to realism. But the thing is that we always have to boil it down to is that this is a simulation-based game. That this game is trying its best to simulate a real sport with the real people that play a real game, and that any number of these factors, whether it be injury or salary cap or how much a guy gets paid, could alter your experience to turn it from a simulation into a video game. Because the moment that I touch the controller, or the moment that the computer takes over, it stops being simulation. Because who knows, Jack Del Rio may have never made that decision in his entire coaching career. But the computer thought it might be a good idea on 3rd and long to throw a screen pass. Who knows? Anyway, that's my argument. And that's just something that I thought would be a good little debate. But again, the question, when does simulation stop? And when does it become a video game? Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys sticking with me in this longer video. You have a great day, and God bless you.